Hey everybody, welcome to a little midday update. I'm Laz. What can we say to start the week? We came in, I think everybody was watching last night, Sunday night, looking for, that Greece resolution. And I think the consensus amongst the media and a lot of the pundits out there was that we were going to come into some large gap. The gap was relatively contained. We did gap down slightly. Last night, I believe we were up, about 8 to 10 handles at one point. And then this morning, futures, taking a little bit of a dip. But it really is a tale of two tapes right now. Let's take a look at that. So we're going to start here. We're going to look at the spiders. Spiders trying to push through resistance here as the S&Ps, flirt with trying to get higher. I would keep an eye on next retracement level in the S&Ps. I do think we can trade potentially a little bit higher, possibly into this 136, which is the 618 retracement area. That's really the area I'm going to look to get aggressive on any selling opportunities, as I do think the market's trying to push itself just ever so slightly higher. Intraday, you're not really seeing it as much. This is really more of an intraday chart. We saw early morning, we saw this gap down, rallying back up. Look at your averages here. Kind of told the tale. And now we're just sort of grinding and consolidating and chopping around. Not much to talk about there, but I do think we can trade higher in the near term. Moving on from that, there are some interesting trades out there that a lot of the traders on the VTF have taken advantage of. One is eBay through this 42 level. Big surge today, good volume. That's one. There's definitely a lot of traders looking at that. TJX, another one. TJX. Again, breakout of a base type pattern. You can see trying to break out today. TJX, another symbol on the VTF. It really is a very it's a very stock specific trade right now. There are definitely a lot of strong stocks out there today, which quite honestly caught me by surprise a little bit, as I wasn't anticipating some of the up moves that we saw right away from the get-go this morning. But that being said, let's take a look and let's evaluate. But there are some cracks sort of we have to keep an eye on if this rally is going to continue higher, and we're going to look at that. Just moving on, it's a couple more stocks here. CRUS, Cirrus Logic, another breakout today above this level. Again, these are all real-time VTF trades. So there are a handful of good-looking charts, and we've talked about Expedia in the past as one of those go-to watch list long stocks. For any strength, you're going to want to go where the money flow is. Apple catching a nice bid today. You can see Apple here hasn't really convincingly gotten out of its range, but definitely making a push today to the upside. And again, right from the get-go, here's a 5-minute chart. Right from the open, just straight up. And it's been really sort of a very choppy, 10:30 a.m. to through lunch. We're starting to chop around. I think if we can get a nice break of the 83.50 level later today, there could be some more upside in Apple, and we're going to keep an eye on that one. As so goes Apple, so goes the market. Now, what concerns me here are the banks. The banks are definitely an area of concern. Here's Goldman Sachs. So while the market's trying to push higher, these banks, really no buyers here. And again, Goldman on the daily, still trading lower. Intraday, here's our intraday look as the market, tries to push higher. The stock's making new lows as we speak through the lunchtime hour, which doesn't speak all that highly of interest. JP Morgan, we saw a nice push higher at the open, but that push has essentially failed, and we are back at the low of day here, intraday. What does that mean overall? Well, it doesn't really mean that much, but looks like this push in JP Morgan on the daily is starting to stall out here in this 34-35 area. So I definitely am keeping an eye on the banks here. As it's going to be hard for the market to get any sustained rally for more than a day or 2 days if the banks don't really participate. So something to watch, like I said. Not necessarily a trade there. And lastly, we're going to talk about Facebook. Facebook, we mentioned in the Thursday recap that it was interesting that it closed right here above its 8-period EMA, which is, again, a notable moving average that I watch. Once we got that new close above, you can see over the last 2 days, aggressively trading higher, and Facebook, trying to, push into this resistance area. First level of resistance, I think, will be around 33s, 33 and a quarter. So potentially another leg higher there in Facebook. Here's an intraday look, and you can see really ever since Friday, we've had that nice 2-day move. So something a lot of traders, a little extended here into the 32 area. And I probably would be more hands off, but I'm going to watch to see how it reacts. If it can trade a little higher, possibly overnight, into that 33 zone. So, how do we surmise here? Well, we have, definitely strong symbols. There are, like I said, a handful of strong stocks that had good-looking charts that I, covered that are seeing breakouts today with good volume, which is always, an encouraging sign. But then there's also the banks, really no buyers. No breakouts, just nothing there other than just short pockets of strength that ultimately have been failing. So definitely a concern for me if I am somebody who is looking to commit capital longer term, looking for some sort of momentum breakout that holds for a few weeks. Just doesn't seem like without the banks that can happen. So again, keep your expectations small. Look for good day trades as they present themselves in this tape. Last week it was some of the dollar stores. This week, a couple other symbols seeing some breakouts. Apple, obviously, all eyeballs on Apple, and so goes Apple, so goes the market. So definitely some interesting scenarios setting up here, which could make for a great trading week. But again, like I said, it's just a question of where you want to be and why. And what's making people money right now, at least here as I look around and talk to my traders, is a good plan. Going after stocks that, either have good bullish setups and good charts, flirting with breaking out, or stocks that are just, utterly weak and every short-term bounce is being sold for new lows, which is really sort of what the banks are doing. So, it's a tale of two tapes. I suspect it's going to stay this way for an indefinite period of time. And like I said last week, less is more. I still think that. I think that less is more, but now you're getting, a little bit of more. You're getting some more action intraday on the longs, which we haven't seen in a little while. So, for those of you that have been looking to get long some stocks, some things are starting to show signs of life. Let's see if it can hold itself for another day or two. Don't chase price. If I was giving anybody any advice, if you're looking to buy, you don't want to chase the market. You don't want to pay up, especially as the market rallies. You want to buy on pullbacks. So if you're looking to buy, let's wait for that pullback as it may come. And again, keep your eye on a couple nimble trades. As always, a planned trader is a profitable trader. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later.